Hello everybody, welcome to Voices of Friedreich Ataxia. Our goal is to raise awareness and funds to cure Friedreich Ataxia. Today we will talk Child of God by Kendall Harvey. Yes, I have Friedreich's ataxia. Yes, I use a walker because my FA has control of my legs. But FA does not have my heart. My cardiologist just called with the best news about my echocardiogram from Monday. My heart is not showing the effects of the cardiomyopathy they suspected. I am going to need some further testing to figure out some new symptoms, but my heart is structurally normal. Yes, I have FA, but I know that I am not only my disability. I am a child of God. I am not my fearfully made disease. I am a wonderfully made temple for the Spirit of God. I am made in His image. I am made new and perfect through the power of His love. Kendall Harvey is also an FA patient and this information was taken from Team Kendall with their permission. The link is provided in description. Hello everybody, welcome to Voices of Friedreich Ataxia. Our goal is to raise awareness and funds to cure Friedreich Ataxia. Today we will talk Informing Children About FA by Kendall Harvey. They say there is no parenting handbook. There is no universal system or code that can set you up for foolproof success in raising your children to be confident and competent adults. As the mom of a nearly 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter, I can certainly confirm that. Add in a progressively degenerative disease, and there really isn't an easy step-by-step guide to your role as a parent. When I was diagnosed with Friedreich's ataxia, FA, in 2013, our plan to have children was a major concern. I didn't know if I still could, if I should, or what mothering with FA would look like. As we gathered more information about my diagnosis, I met with Dr. David Lynch at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. I asked him if it was wise or advisable to have babies now that I had FA, desperate for a clear answer to make the choice for me. His answer was simple: if you wanted to have children before FA, there's no reason you should let FA stop you now. A classic overthinker, I talked through our dilemma with everyone. I quickly learned that no prospective parent knows what life will look like once your baby arrives. No one really knows what they're doing, yet it's estimated that 385,000 new babies are born every day worldwide. So, my husband and I decided to go for it, determined to figure it out as we went. We welcomed our son, Brooks, in 2014. Fortunately, FA did not negatively affect my pregnancy or delivery, and my pregnancy and delivery did not negatively affect my FA. Still, pregnancy is but a blip in the lifelong journey of parenthood. Once our son was here, I had to figure out how to parent him successfully in the face of my disability. My FA symptoms didn't begin to affect every aspect of my life until about 2018. Therefore, I was a pretty normal mom for most of my son's infancy and toddlerhood. When he was a baby, I could walk and hold his hand, carry him, and pop out of bed to tend to him in the middle of the night. As he grew, I couldn't run with him, but I could have tickle fights and play hide and seek, catch, and all of the silly games toddlers fill their days with. The same can't be said for my daughter, Collins, who was born in mid-2017. She has really only known life with a disabled mom. Now, my kids are both very comfortable with my walker. They have accepted it as just another part of me. They know that mommy's legs don't work very well, but they don't yet know the words Friedreich's ataxia. They know I get really tired some days and are great about entertaining each other or snuggling up for movie days on the couch, but they don't understand what chronic fatigue means. Those hard conversations will come, but they know enough about my disability at this age. My children will view my walker differently when they begin to comprehend the realities of FA as they learn more with age. But everything will work out just as it has so far. Kids are a lot more resilient and flexible than we give them credit for. While I assume they wouldn't have chosen to have a disabled mom, their perspective will uniquely shape their hearts and minds. Maybe watching their mom progress through a rare disease will spur them to pursue a life in the medical field, and they will become the brilliant mind that eventually finds a cure for FA. Maybe seeing the emotional effects of my physical disabilities will shape their hearts so they can help other patients and loved ones walk this journey. This resilience and perspective will help with the inevitable tough conversations that are in the future for my family. I will do my best to guide them through the process of accepting FA as I continue down that path daily. For now, I am thankful my children are healthy and FA-free. I am thankful I am just mom to them. I am thankful for my village that helps me navigate the waters of parenting with FA, even without an official guidebook. Kendall Harvey is also an FA patient and this information was taken from Team Kendall with their permission. The link is provided in description. Hello everybody, welcome to Voices of Friedreich Ataxia. Our goal is to raise awareness and funds to cure Friedreich Ataxia. Today we will talk. Love is the consistent remedy for my FA blues. By Kendall Harvey. Life with Friedreich's ataxia, FA, requires constant adjustment and acceptance. I have to adjust to new symptoms regularly, whether they are temporary, like extra fatigue during a particularly busy season, or permanent, like the frustrating decrease in my walking speed. I have to adjust to safely accommodate these new symptoms in my daily routine. I go to bed earlier than I would prefer so that my body can rest, and I wake up earlier to ensure that I have enough time to help my family get their day started to make up for my new slower pace. But more than that, I have to make emotional and mental adjustments before, during, and after my physical adjustments. I have to accept my limitations and find a way to rise above them so they don't dampen my drive to continue living the life that I have built. I've had a really hard time mentally and emotionally adjusting to these new symptoms because I have yet to find the right combination of physical adjustments to accommodate my fatigue and slower pace. And to top it off, I've had 2 falls, one of which included one of my worst fears, injuring a loved one. I was helping my 4-year-old daughter, Collins, pick up her room and I completely lost my balance. I spiraled on my way down, frantically reaching for something to steady myself. During this ungraceful descent, I somehow accidentally knocked her down. Her head slammed on her bed right underneath me and then I landed on her head. By the grace of God, she is just fine. She was scared but just had a little bruise on her head for a day. My tailbone was sore for a week, but physically, I was fine. Emotionally, I was a wreck. Every fall just reminds me that even though I'm doing everything in my power using a walker, working out daily, participating in clinical trials, doing physical therapy, fundraising, blogging, and praying, my disease is still winning. FA is making me undeniably sicker and weaker every day. It just feels like an insurmountable weight has been placed on me. I can kind of ignore the weight of a degenerative disease on the good days, but falls just break down my defenses and flood me with the hurt, fear, pain, sadness, uncertainty, and anger that I constantly block out. Falls make all of my efforts seem to be in vain. It's heartbreaking and soul-crushing. In the past couple of weeks, I've had lots of moments where I've said or thought, this is just too hard. Being me, having FA, is just too hard. I can't keep going on like this. When I reach this point, where I'm at the end of myself, that's when my faith, family, and friends carry me. One of my favorite songs is The Heart of Life by John Mayer. The chorus says, pain throws your heart to the ground / love turns the whole thing around / no, it won't all go the way it should / but I know the heart of life is good. FA frequently throws my heart to the ground. And the love of my friends and family, and the grace of my God, keep me going. They provide and defend the silver lining. I am reminded that, despite all that FA throws my way, the heart of life is good. A perfect example of this happened the other day. Our family got home after a long day spent at a doubleheader game for my son's All-Star Baseball League. My walker was in the truck tailgate and my husband was busy unloading all of our gear. I didn't have the patience to wait for him to help me to the front door or unload my walker, so I took 5 or so unassisted, and very unsteady, steps to the front door where my other walker that I always leave in the house was waiting for me. I was so frustrated. During each step, I was internally cursing FA for making this such an unsafe gamble. I was full of bravado, as if daring FA to make me fall again after a day full of taking countless precautions to accommodate my symptoms. When I safely made it to the front door, Collins clapped and said, "Good job walking some steps without a person or your walker, Mommy." While my gut reaction was to sarcastically respond, I took a moment to realize that this might be the only time she has seen me walk to the front door unassisted, and it could very well be the last. I didn't want to taint that memory with my negativity, so I just said, "Thanks, sweetie girl." Little victories, little glimpses of normalcy, and the mundane moments in between are the heart of life. And life is good because of love. Love is the consistent remedy for my FA blues. Kendall Harvey is also an FA patient and this information was taken from Team Kendall with their permission. The link is provided in description. Hello everybody, welcome to Voices of Friedreich Ataxia. Our goal is to raise awareness and funds to cure Friedreich Ataxia. Today we will talk When a Realist Explains FA to Optimists and Pessimists by Kendall Harvey. I greatly admire people with an optimistic outlook on life, those who see the best possible outcome in all situations, point out silver linings during hard times, and encourage disheartened or apprehensive people. I used to be an optimist. Before I had any real hardship in my life, I didn't understand people who couldn't see the bright side of things. It baffled me when people couldn't see positive solutions and feel energized to overcome challenges. I thought everyone was either an optimist or a pessimist, a glass half full person or a glass half empty one. There didn't seem to be any middle ground. When I was diagnosed with Friedreich's ataxia, FA, at the age of 25, I was still an optimist. But this new life sentence threw my world into a tailspin. I couldn't reconcile my new reality. I couldn't wrap my mind around a lifelong, progressively degenerative diagnosis like FA. This dramatic change in circumstance forced me into a pessimistic mindset. Being new to this lifestyle, I didn't adjust well. I was now living the worst-case scenario and didn't know where to go from there. I just felt depressed. So, I began to shift again. Now, I fall into a third category of realist. A realist is someone who accepts a situation as it is and is prepared to deal with it accordingly. I hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. I also participate in fundraising, clinical trials, and research studies. I exercise, and I go to physical therapy. I do everything in my power to fight my disease, all while telling myself there might be treatments or a cure in my lifetime. But there also might not be. So, armed with all of the knowledge and the advice I can gather from my doctors and medical professionals, I do what I can to safely live my life with FA as best I can. Part of that means I use a walker full-time, which allows me to safely maintain my independence as I continue going about my day. My walker opens me up to a lot of curiosity from others. While some just stare or flash me a polite smile, others boldly approach, as if my walker were an invitation for me to discuss my health with perfect strangers. I am relatively young, so people often assume I am recovering from an injury or a surgery, and they'll usually lead with that line of questioning. I'll smile and say, "Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm not injured, I have a genetic neurological disease, and this walker helps me walk safely." The most common response to that is, "I'm so sorry." Occasionally, some people will press for more information. Because it is difficult and heavy to explain the degenerative, relentless, far-reaching progression of a smart, devastating, and intricate disease like FA in a quick and polite conversation, I often provide a high-level description along the lines of, "My DNA causes a buildup in my central nervous system, and this blocks effective communication with my body. So, I am slowly losing coordination and my ability to walk and talk." Optimists usually respond to that with, "Well, my friend that has MS goes into remission, so hopefully, you will, too, and then you will be fine again." Or, "Well, I'm sure they will find a cure soon." Or, in the most common scenario, they'll advise me about an exercise regimen, a certain vitamin, or an idea, like extremely hot baths. I just smile and say, "Thank you," because I don't want to counter their optimism with negativity and science talk. I don't want to embody bitterness and coldness, which wouldn't accomplish anything productive. Pessimists usually respond with things like, "Bless your heart, that must be awful," or "Isn't there any medication you can take?" I try to maintain a smile and say things like, "Ah, well, it's not so bad, I can still do most things if I have assistance," in an effort to avoid getting sucked into a doom and gloom headspace. Occasionally, I'll encounter a like-minded realist who usually offers sympathy and asks what they can do. A realist will want to read more about FA later, or take the pragmatic approach of helping me load my walker into the car. It's hard to gauge what type of response I'll get when I open up about FA. But I have learned that how I respond to people's gut reactions is just as important. I try to remain neutral. I don't want to sugarcoat my reality, nor do I want to leave people with the impression that I am on my deathbed. My goal is to raise awareness and shine through it. I think that is the realist in me, with a background in optimism. Kendall Harvey is also an FA patient and this information was taken from Team Kendall with their permission. The link is provided in description. Hello everybody, welcome to Voices of Friedreich Ataxia. Our goal is to raise awareness and funds to cure Friedreich Ataxia. Today we will talk. Sometimes anniversaries are tough to celebrate with FA. By Kendall Harvey. I'm a big fan of holidays, parties, and any other reason to be festive. I love celebrating birthdays, beginnings and ends, milestones, anniversaries, and everything in between. I enjoy celebrations because they force me to focus on someone or something other than myself. They allow me to just be happy, to forget about the troubles that progressive Friedreich's ataxia causes me, and to celebrate life in all of its beautiful chaos. Part of this tendency means I am always aware of dates, especially life-changing ones. Most of the dates I note are joyous occasions, but two always haunt my summer calendar, one that falls at the beginning of summer and another at the end. Both are related to FA. On August 19, 2013, after 5 months of tests, blood work, exams, fear, questions, and uncertainty during what felt like a long and frankly wasted summer, I was diagnosed with FA. My life changed that day. August 19 completely rocked my world, for better or worse, and set me on a lifelong trajectory of progressive disability. Then, nearly 5 years later, on May 28, 2018 Memorial Day, which to me is the unofficial kickoff of summer, I fell and obliterated my ankle, requiring intensive surgery to repair it and an 8-week stint in a wheelchair. That summer was miserable, painful, and challenging, and it was dominated by my recovery. While I hope and pray I don't add more negative, life-altering dates to my calendar, I do think these dates are significant enough to at least observe each year. For a while, I went so far as to throw a little party on August 19 to celebrate all of the good, lovely, and positive things in my life despite FA. I used to gather my closest friends and have a fun group dinner. I would say a few words about how their friendship had helped me make lemonade from the lemon that is life with FA. We would toast everything I had accomplished that year, including the big and the small, the exciting and the mundane. But before and after those parties, I experienced moments of anger and pity, and I cursed the date August 19, 2013. That date became like a measuring stick with which I would notice the progression of my symptoms. That usually devastated my spirit. Making the day a party helped me gain perspective on the passage of time, even if only for a little bit. It helped me see all of the beauty that had happened despite my worsening disability. In 2018, when I was still at the tail end of my recovery from reconstructive ankle surgery, I couldn't bring myself to celebrate August 19. In my mind, FA had won that year, and I didn't feel like celebrating. My fall and the subsequent need for a wheelchair felt like the inevitable beginning of the end. I couldn't hide from or ignore FA anymore. So, instead of celebrating, I just talked with those closest to me, and they helped me through the day with empathy, compassion, encouragement, and jokes. In 2019, I let August 19 pass uncelebrated it again because FA had claimed yet another victory. I was now 100% dependent on a walker. I couldn't bring myself to celebrate the monster that had crushed my hope that year. Although 2018 and 2019 were full of wonderful moments, such as our daughter's first steps, our family's move to our dream house, my 10th wedding anniversary, and so much more, it was hard to put aside the heaviness that FA brought to those years and celebrate my FA anniversary. It seemed morbid and pathetic somehow. I don't know if I will ever return to celebrating August 19. I think the weight of the day gets heavier with each passing year, as I live out the ramifications of my diagnosis the remaining 364 days of the year. Perhaps my new tradition will be to simply continue living my crazy, beautiful, disabled life, and use that anniversary to privately count my blessings and pat myself on the back for all that I have overcome in the days, weeks, months, and years since August 19, 2013. Kendall Harvey is also an FA patient and this information was taken from Team Kendall with their permission. The link is provided in description. Hello everybody, welcome to Voices of Friedreich Ataxia. Our goal is to raise awareness and funds to cure Friedreich Ataxia. Today we will talk. I'm handling my FA progression by making intentional accommodations. By Kendall Harvey. As my Friedreich's ataxia, FA, has progressed, I've had to make adjustments to accommodate new symptoms. Since my 2013 diagnosis, I've had to intentionally account for countless modifications every day, step by step and movement by movement. As part of my duties as an FA patient, I go to physical therapy every week. We start each session by discussing any falls and injuries, and any other major complaints caused by my FA symptoms. My physical therapist helps me notice trends and risk factors, and we work on solutions to either overcome, compensate for, or avoid them. I have noticed that nearly every time we discuss coping methods, the word intentional is used. To avoid falls, extra exertion, injury, or faster symptom progression, I must be intentional. I can't mindlessly do anything. Every move I make must be carefully premeditated and well planned. For example, my balance has become so poor that I rely on full-time assistance from a mobility aid. My peripheral neuropathy has advanced to the point that I must wear special shoes and socks 24/7. Even the way I sleep, get out of bed, shower, get dressed, cook, and do chores around the house has been adjusted to intentionally accommodate my progressive FA symptoms. I can't feel my feet, so I have to watch them when I walk so that I don't take a misstep. When I sit down to write a column or watch a movie, I have to intentionally place my feet in a way that allows for good circulation and proper warmth. When I am walking, I have to mentally map out a path wide enough to fit my walker and adjust for any steep grades or uneven terrains. I have to weigh the pros and cons before moving. Is it safe for me to attempt to get there? If not, what can I do to make it safe? Is it worth the risk? Most people wouldn't think twice about hopping up to snap an action shot of their son high-fiving his teammates after driving in a run during his baseball game. Most people would be able to skirt around someone obliviously parked in the middle of the produce section at the grocery store to grab a bunch of bananas. Most people can quickly get up from the ground where they were playing dolls with their daughter to answer the front door. Unfortunately, I can't. At least not mindlessly, quickly, or without great effort. Thanks to my mobility aid and the occasional helping hand, I can do all of those things, but only if I move slowly, intentionally, and cautiously. Accommodating my FA symptoms takes a lot of the fun, spontaneity, and enthusiasm out of things. Many actions that most people don't think twice about have become too difficult and tedious for me. Because of this, I feel like I miss out on a lot. I have recently been dealing with painful cricks in my neck. Another problematic symptom that is common among FA patients is scoliosis. Though my doctors don't foresee my spine curvature becoming so problematic that I require corrective surgery, it is becoming a more noticeable annoyance. If I roll into a strange position while sleeping, work out with the wrong form, or turn my head too quickly, I will develop a crick in my neck. While my physical therapist was manipulating and adjusting my neck to make it better, we discussed how to prevent a recurrence. Again, the word intentional was used. I am already so intentional about navigating so many situations in my life, I became annoyed that FA was, once again, dictating another one of my abilities. I never dreamed that I would long for the ability to be mindless and fluid, but being so intentional in everything I do just to remain a poorly functioning disabled person is exhausting, both mentally and physically. It seems as though doing what I want or need to do has become overly complicated by my efforts to avoid the inevitable hazards of my FA symptoms. Of course, I will keep moving forward with intentionality, purpose, and hope, despite the struggle. As the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can't fly then run, if you can't run then walk, if you can't walk then crawl, but whatever you do you have to keep moving forward. Yes, FA is a frustrating and ever-progressing obstacle. Although my abilities are strained and limited, I am thankful for my village and the assistance I am given, which help me to keep moving forward. Even if it isn't in the way that I want, I intentionally choose to move forward in life. Kendall Harvey is also an FA patient and this information was taken from Team Kendall with their permission. The link is provided in description.